Well, welcome everybody. Another episode of 21 Soul in a different format than we normally do it.
We have guests.
We have guests. We're here with students from University of the Arts. Thank you, Mr. Steven Serino, for hooking this up. Maybe we can start with just going around the room and saying your name and introducing yourselves, and maybe what you play or what you do at school.
Okay. I'm Brianna. I play piano. Initially, like singer-songwriter.
Okay.
I'm Dom. I'm an MBET at UArts, which is the Music Business, Entrepreneurship, and Technology. I don't play an instrument, more so on the business side, marketing, managing, and yeah.
My name is Markina, aka Joy Beach, Joibeatz. I am a music business, entrepreneurship, and technology major, so I produce, perform, interview, do it all.
I've met her before. She's brilliant. I love it. I'll go back and back.
I'm Sydney. I'm a sophomore at University of the Arts. I play guitar, and I'm also right now really focused on like journalism and media and doing interviews and reviews and photography and stuff like that.
That's great.
I'm Steve Serino, instructor at the University of the Arts and under the MBET program, and I also have a management company called Future Management.
My name is Cameron. I'm an MBET major and also a drummer, so I just play for backing bands for artists, freelancing around Philly and New York pretty much.
Love it.
I'm Fatima. I play drums as well, and I focus more on the production side.
Cool. And we're here obviously with CEO, Mr.
Louis Marks, Ropeadope. Yeah.
I love it. Yeah. So this is an open forum, guys. This is where you get to ask us questions about whatever it is that you're curious about in the music business or on the record label side, or anything that strikes you.
Can we do a little intro first? Can we get some background so everyone has it?
Okay.
Like, what's your story?
What's my story? I'm Fabian. I'm actually a University of the Arts alumni. It's 2001, 2001 saxophone major. So when Steven came to us with this idea, it kind of resonated with me. My time at Ropeadope's not very long, a few years, and my role here depends on what kind of day it is, right? So I handle some PR, some publicity for our artists, connecting them with different media outlets. I'm helping Louis build the brand 21 Soul, and I run the internship program. So looking for young, creative minds to connect and make some things, happen. And I'm excited. 21 Soul is, maybe I'll let you talk a little bit about 21 Soul.
Yeah, we'll get to that. One of the things that I think would be cool to focus in on is how you and I came to work together. So,
That's interesting.
I think it's really useful for people who are entering the business to know how that happened. I'll kick it off,
okay,
and you can fill in your piece. So,
okay.
In the process of finding a new home for Ropeadope, when the time came just a few years ago, I knew Fabian from around town, and I came down here to the farmers market in East Philadelphia, as we like to call it, and rented a space. They said they had a space, and these guys, you've been working on building community around businesses, wineries, breweries, farmers, the whole bit here in town.
Music festivals.
So when I rented the space, you said to me,
well, I was eating a burrito at the local burrito store. Louis comes
that day well.
He comes whipping in his car, and it's funny. He came out. He was looking for the space, like he said. I said, "Look, we gotta go check. There's a spot available right down the road." We took a walk over there. A mutual friend of ours came and got the key to get into the space, and we looked at it. And his original idea was just a place to pick and pack orders for CDs to get distributed out. And we got into the space. I was actually in transition. I was a school teacher, a music teacher, and I just wanted a place with internet that wasn't my house with my crazy kids. And true story. True story. And
we can edit that. We can bleep that out.
And one thing led to another, and I just was hanging out and kind of have an open ear and said, "Hey, Louis, if you need any help with anything, let me know." And I remember taking a trip to New York. We had a session at YouTube Studio in New York City.
Yeah, you're modest. So basically, we were both in the same place, and without saying I want to be in the music business and can I apply for a job, he just started helping.
Right.
It was Monday or Tuesday, and I said, well, I get this thing at YouTube. I don't know how to do it. And he's like, I'll take care of it. Coordinated everybody. Got in to do sessions at YouTube.
Yep.
Never once discussed being paid.
No.
Right? And that went on for a bit. And that's how, you know, that was the perfect entry into this game, because it's really challenging. Right? So we work together extremely well because we both have the intent first.
Yeah.
You know? And you knew the value
100%
of being connected with a label that has a good reputation in the business. So I wanted to get to that story.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the label, the brand had a lot of the artists that I would look up to as you know, as a student, as a kid. You know, so I've known of Ropeadope. I just never imagined myself being on the business side of it. You know, like I'm a horn player. You know, and so I wasn't like one day I woke up, you know what, I'm going to be in this crazy thing called the music business. If anything, I was like, let me not touch that with a 10-foot pole. You know, so yeah, it was kind of organic.
We got your attention. Christian Scott came by, Terrace Martin came by.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You know, it was a good vibe. You know, it was good to see all these people popping in. It was good.
It's definitely a good vibe.
Cool. I think that's important stuff to get for people to know. You know. I'll tell you a little bit about Ropeadope and my involvement and how this independent label evolved. I got into this by accident. I was in the clothing business and I was making T-shirts. I had a factory out in Downingtown, Pennsylvania. And one day a cat came through the door and said, we need somebody, this is probably 2001. Wow. Which in internet years is a long time ago, right? And he said, well, we need to print T-shirts, we need to put labels on them, we need to market them, we need to set up online shopping, which at the time was like, we don't know how to do that. And I said, okay. And he said, well, which part? And I said, we'll do all of that. Right? I thought the brand was cool. I was looking to kind of try something new in my business. So we started doing, you know, Ropeadope, Blue Note, OK Player, Def Jux, Duck Down, all these different labels started to come in. DJ Shadow, Al Green, and come in and get T-shirts from us and do online marketing. So that was my business, and Ropeadope was my biggest customer. And then there was very challenging years in the 2000s. And so when Ropeadope was having problems dealing with the decline of the existing music business, I decided to step in 2006. It was not a moment of celebration. It was pain right out of the gate. It was immediate, open up the books, look at the numbers. This is going to be a really, really challenging and difficult road. And my response to that over the course of a couple years was to just shrink the thing back to next to nothing. And because I knew how to do that. I knew how to work. You know, I'd started one business from my spare room, and so I brought this back to that. And that's what kept the label alive. It was that kind of elasticity and that kind of flexibility that really helped it stay open. So when we got around to about 2009 or 2010, I finally got my head around it and converted the label's mission to an artist advocacy agency, thinking outside the record label concept. Artists want to own their masters, artists should own their own businesses, artists are going to have to be entrepreneurs in the new economy, was my thinking at the time. So if we can create any kind of service that will help them do that and let them have full control of their business, then let's do that. So fortunately in those years, the social media thing was sort of wide open. In 2011, 2012, 2013, it was easy to connect with fans. It was, you know, when you posted something on Facebook, people saw it. All of the people that you had connected to you. And we worked very effectively with bands like Snarky Puppy, Funky Knuckles, and probably miss a few, but really started to help them connect, run their businesses, get their music out there, and be supportive. We added another layer of that as time went by, and the point was collaborative, key word. Have all of the artists talk to each other, because we realized there's 100 artists out there all doing the same thing for the first time and making the same mistake. So if we could connect them all and have them learn from each other, let's do that. Fast forward a few years, and the model has just been, it's overwhelming. It's kind of crushing for us in a way because so many people send us. 95% of the music that we release comes from referral. 100% of the music that we choose to be on the label, the A&R process is it comes through my inbox. We don't go out, so it's that popular among independent artists. Now it's also a challenge as a business. So that takes you from the beginning to today, and there we are. We can open it up for questions.
This music business is absolutely crazy, you know, and it's you guys. You know, you're the next step, right? You know, you're going to school, you're getting your chops in the business industry, getting your chops together, performing. You know, what inspires you to even be in this industry? That's my question. I knew for me it was just like I just wanted to get better on my horn. I just wanted to play with people. That was my inspiration. What motivates you to tackle on this crazy thing called, you know, music? I'm curious.
Anybody want? Sure. Yeah. Go ahead.
For me personally, it's really just interacting with people and sending out a positive message that inspires and uplifts people. For example, me performing, I had this one experience when I got asked from my old music teacher. She started a mentoring program called Girls Right Nashville in Nashville, Tennessee, and I went down there and performed for their first opening of album release party event, and I performed one of my songs, and it was about suicide awareness. And I noticed while I was performing, one of the girls' mother was crying while I was performing. It's just like touching people emotionally and like changing them through my music and through what I write lyrically and orally as well, and just making an impact that way. Really.
That's
beautiful.
That's great.
Yeah.
How old are you? What year?
I had to think. I'm 20.
20? Okay, so junior in college?
That's correct.
It's great. It's fantastic. Anyone else? You know, what's, yes? Anything else?
So I have, you know, like probably a lot of us, I grew up with music being around me all the time. You know, like my parents, like my parents told the story of how the first song I listened to ever on the way home from the hospital was "Here Comes the Sun" by the Beatles, and it's been in my life forever. And at some point, I never wasn't really sure what I wanted to do, and just nothing was kind of clicking, and it never really occurred to me that this was something that I could go to school for, and I didn't have to just know somebody to somehow get into it. It was, I could get into it myself, hard work and education. And so I think for me, I love live music. It's one of my favorite things ever. Just going there and being surrounded by people who love the music as much as me, and are as passionate about it as me, passionate enough to buy a ticket, and spend their money and come and enjoy it. And just the thought of being able to help put on a show like that, and be a part of spreading the happiness that I feel when I listen to music is something that is very touching to me, and that's really what motivates me, especially in the business. So.
Awesome. And what year are you too?
I'm 19 and I'm a sophomore.
Sophomore. Okay. Awesome. You want to say something?
Yeah, for me, it just started with the love of music first and foremost. It was just always there, man. I remember when I was 5 and I first heard Beethoven, and I was like, this is the craziest thing I've heard in my life. So I spent every day after I would get home from school, I had a little Casio keyboard, and I spent every day, you know how when you press the song bank button on the keyboards, and then it shows what notes it's pressing up and down. So I spent a good 2 months just writing down every single note. I didn't know how to read music or anything, so I just sat down watching the keyboard as the keys were played by itself and write everything down. I finally figured out how to play it, and then that connection that I made once I figured it out, wait, I can do this too. That's crazy. So from there, it was just all right, I love music, but then you see how it touches people. You know, my parents listened to it all the time. They was going through their divorce. They both had their separate, you know, set of music that they would play, you know, week to week. And I'm like, oh, this is how they're getting through this rough time. And if music is that powerful, that's something that I want to share with the world. You have to inspire individuals, man. Just, you know, where you come from to say that, oh, this is possible to do it for a living. This is possible to really go after your dreams. That's what it's really all about. It's the love and inspiration. You know?
That's what year are you and how old?
I'm 21. I'm a sophomore.
Sophomore.
Yeah.
I love it.
Started a little bit late.
That's right. You're just on time. You're not
You're not late.
Yeah.
Anybody else?
I just love how it aligns like passion with the sense of business. I mean, I've always had like a very business-oriented mind. I've never been like science, stuff like that.
Right.
And my dad runs a business, so he's always like, start a business. And I was like, well, I can start a business doing something I love. So yeah, I love that aspect of it. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And again,
I'm 18. I'm a sophomore.
Sophomore.
Mm-hmm.
That's great. You got 2 more.
The challenge of it honestly inspires me. Like I feel like the post Napster era, like everybody was all like taboo with the music industry and like so terrified of it. But I see like so much potential with streaming and like all these different services and like new opportunities to like have your own like creative way to make money in this business. And yeah, just like the challenge itself kind of motivates me and inspires me. I'm 20 and a junior at UArts.
Okay.
For me, I've like always loved music, but I've been to 3 wars, and I think like what made me go through them was like we got like old stuff and we did production and we created music out there, and it was cool, and I was always motivated. You know, that's what always motivated me to keep going, you know. And so I just not the recognition, more just like creating, like being passionate about creating like this sound and developing it, and then you having other people collaborating, you know, with you, and that was like more of the awesome part of it, and which made me come here, because I felt like I reached my limit and I needed help to go further.
So what's
Q&A? Is that where we are?
Yeah.
For sure.
So at UArts, I'm involved in the radio there, and you guys said that for like the new rebranding kind of thing of 21 Soul, you're gonna try and do radio kind of stuff. What exactly is your plan?
Okay. I talk in broad strokes sometimes, so if I get too far out there, let me know. You know, I want to put it in the context of the music business, and you know, you mentioned how exciting and how challenging it is because you can create anything you want. Right. Certainly, part of our reason for doing things is maybe we're a little bored, we're a little tired of saying, you know, let's call Rolling Stone and see if we can get this record in there, or Downbeat or whatever, and let's, you know, push it on iTunes. You know, doing the same thing every week. Yeah. Here's another great record. Here's another great record. And next week, 2 great records. You know, so we wanted to do something new and creative. We started 21 Soul. I think I was listening to it will remain unnamed, some music review show on the radio. And I literally, in my car, after listening to these guys talk about music, smacked the radio off and said, "Shut up." Right? And I walked in the next day and was like, "What? Why is everything so overpresented? And even when it's, and why is everything all the same? The jazz guys sound the same on every single station. Mm-hmm. Why? You know? And why is nobody just putting the camera on or turning the mic on and saying, here's some music. Here's, you know." So we started at that, and that's the birth of 21 Soul. It was us just trying to, you know, so create, do something new. Mm-hmm. And then it's really evolved because we had a lot of fun doing it. And other things, other methods came up because we're talking to artists all the time. I'm interviewing artists when they sign to the label, so that I can rewrite their bio so that that doesn't sound the same as all the other bios in the world.
Okay.
You know, started playing at 3, played with parentheses, you know, like they're all the same. So then we realized, like, we have access to all these people and we have all this great music. What kind of ways can we present this? So we did the TV show, we did YouTube show, YouTube interviews, then radio. And I think radio started because Brooklyn Radio messaged us and said, can you guys put together a radio program for us? And we're like, sure. And we did it. We had fun with it. And
That was a lot of fun.
it was great. Yeah. And I mean, they have a nice space, and it was just like, well, why, they're a radio show. Why don't they program it? And then we realized that there might be a call for programming, right? And what we're really trying to do is translate what we do as the record label is really just a curation funnel. It's just, you know, we're finding the gems, you know? We're finding people who play jazz, who are adventurous and try different things and put some hip hop and put some Brazilian music into it, or put some, you know, I mean, we have a steel pan jazz band, right? So that's our curation. So why don't we apply that to radio?
Right.
So the things that we're going to do, we put it up on Mixcloud. I don't know where else we're going to go with it. You know, I mean, we might do some stuff for terrestrial radio and put it out there as here's a show. We might do a full-on show with commentary and music and try to syndicate it. We're going to be constantly looking for ways to monetize it and simultaneously promote the artists that are on the label.
Yeah, sounds like a bunch of potential. So I'm
It's
happy
exciting.
to hear.
It's
Yeah.
fun.